Hello everyone, I am Dr. MOhammad Ismail. In this video, we are going to discuss about genotype and phenotype. Now, what is genotype? A genotype is an individual's collection of genes. The term also can refer to the two alleles inherited for a particular gene. So, this is known as genotype. Each pair of alleles represent the genotype of a specific gene. Look at this figure. Here is a pair of homologous chromosome which is having two genes, or we can say four alleles are there. The set of one pair of allele is known as a genotype of that gene. Look at the figure. This is the genotype for gene A, and this is the genotype for gene B. Okay, the genotype of gene A is capital A and small a because this one is the homologous chromosome, and in one chromosome capital A allele is present, and in second chromosome small a allele is present. So the genotype will be the capital A and small a. Similarly, for gene B, the genotype of this will be capital B and small b, as we saw in gene A. Genotypes can be homozygous and heterozygous. If there are two identical alleles at a particular locus, then this condition is known as homozygous. And if the two alleles differ at a particular locus, then this condition is known as heterozygous. Alleles contribute to the organism's phenotype, which is the outward or physical appearance of the organisms. Now, in these figures, we can easily differentiate between the homozygous condition and heterozygous condition. Okay, in the first figure, we have seen homozygous condition as both the alleles of gene A is same, that is capital A, capital A. In the second and the third figure, the condition is heterozygous, as both the alleles of this particular gene is different one, means capital A, small a. And in the last figure, it is also the homozygous condition, as both the alleles of this particular gene is same, that is small a, small a. Some alleles are dominant or recessive. When an organism is heterozygous at a specific locus and carry one dominant and one recessive allele, the organism will express only the dominant phenotype. Okay, this is all about the genotype. Now come to the phenotype. What is the phenotype? The term phenotype refers to the observable physical properties of an organism. These include the organism appearance, development, and behavior. An organism's phenotype means its physical characters or its appearance is determined by its genotype or its genetic makeup, which is the set of genes the organism carries, as well as by environmental influences upon these genes. For example of phenotype include height, wing length, hair color, etc. These are the physical appearance of organism. So these appearances or physical characters are known as phenotype. Phenotype also include observable characteristics that can be measured in laboratory, such as levels of hormones or blood cells, etc. Now, Look at this figure. For example, a gene W is responsible for wing shape in fruit fly. In the first condition, both the allele of capital W or W gene means the gene responsible for shape of the wing in fruit fly is same, means it is a homozygous condition. Then its effect is normal wing in the fruit fly. Normal wing is the phenotype of the gene. In second and third condition, both the allele of W gene differ, means it is a heterozygous condition. Then the gene which shows its effect in offspring is known as dominant allele. Look at the genotype of this gene. Both the alleles are present in a single organism, but the effect of allele is known as dominant allele, and the allele which do not show its effect in the offspring is known as recessive allele. In both these situations, capital W allele shows its effect and the wing shape is normal one. In the fourth condition, both the allele is same, means it is also in homozygous condition. Now the effect of these alleles is wrinkled wing in the offspring. Now in this situation, both the alleles is recessive and in homozygous condition. Point to be remembered is that a recessive allele only shows its effect when it is present in homozygous condition. Recessive allele do not show or do not exhibit its effect when it is present in heterozygous condition, but only in homozygous condition it presents or it shows its effect in offspring. So the fourth condition is homozygous recessive condition, but the first condition is homozygous dominant condition. And in the first condition, the shape of the wing is normal one, but in the fourth condition, which is homozygous recessive, the shape of the wing is wrinkled. Okay, so this is all about the phenotype of an organism. Now the next concept is what is dominant and what is recessive. Dominant refers to a relationship between two versions of a gene. If one is dominant, the other one must be not dominant. In that case, we call it recessive. A dominant gene or a dominant version of a gene is a particular variant of a gene which for a variety of reasons expresses itself more strongly all by itself than any other version of the gene which the person is carrying, and in this case this is known as the recessive. Dominant traits are always expressed even if only one copy exists among both the alleles. Dominant allele is denoted by capital letters. Dominant traits are always expressed even if only one copy exists among both the alleles. Like, look at the example of this. Capital A, small a. It is a heterozygous condition. Both the alleles are present in this condition. One is dominant one and other one is recessive one. The dominant alleles are always expressed or written in capital letters. Look at the second example, capital B, small b. So likewise, we can write the genotype of one heterozygous organism. Dominant allele is always denoted or written by capital letter. For example, right-handedness is dominant trait over left-handedness in human, and suppose The gene responsible for this is capital R, so it can be expressed in following conditions of the alleles. Now, what will be the conditions? If suppose capital R means if a human being containing genotype of right-handedness and left-handedness gene responsible for this gene is capital R and capital R means homozygous dominant condition. It is a homozygous dominant condition. In this, both the alleles of this gene are same and expressed equally in organism, then the organism will be right-handed. The second condition would be heterozygous condition, capital R and small r. Both the alleles are present in organism, so this condition is the heterozygous condition. In this condition, both the alleles of this gene are different one, but only dominant allele means capital R expresses its feature in organism. Here also the organism is also the right-handed. Right-handed is dominant over left-handed. Okay, so this is all about the dominant and dominant condition. Now the next concept is the recessive. Recessive traits are based only if both the connected alleles are recessive in condition. If one of the allele is dominant, then the associated characteristic is less likely to manifest. Let's have a look in this figure. In the first condition, there is presence of two capital A allele. Then the color of flower is purple one. In the second condition, there is also presence of two same alleles, that is small a, then the color of flower is white one. But in the third condition, there is presence of both the alleles, that is capital A and small a. But the presence of small a allele does not make any contribution to the phenotype, means color of flower. Only the trait of capital A allele is expressed and it suppresses the small a allele characteristic or its effect. So small a allele is the recessive allele. So this is all about the recessive condition. Now the next concept is what is homozygous and what is heterozygous. Homozygous is a term in the field of genetics that describe two identical copies of alleles in the gene sequence that encodes for a particular trait. As we obtain our genetic material from a father and a mother, not all of the double standard of our DNA is exactly the same. A heterozygous condition, two identical copies of alleles of a particular gene that encodes for a particular trait is known as homozygous condition. For example, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, these are the homozygous dominant condition. Now small a, small b, small c are the homozygous but recessive condition. Now the heterozygous condition. A heterozygous individual is a diploid organism with two alleles, each of a different type. Then there can be many alleles in a population, but a heterozygous individual can only have two of them because every diploid organism receives one allele from each parent. Although each organism can have only two alleles, there can be many variations of a gene present in a population. Now, how we can write the heterozygous condition genetically or the genotype of heterozygous condition. For example, we can write it by capital A small a. This one is the heterozygous condition because both the alleles are present in a organism. Capital B small b, capital C small c. This is the condition of heterozygous organism. Now look at this figure. The first figure showing homozygous organism dominant condition. Why it is dominant one in the first first pair of chromosome? Because both the alleles are written in capital letter. So we already learned about it that dominant alleles are always denoted by capital letters. So the first pair of chromosome having capital A alleles, so this is homozygous dominant condition. In the second pair of chromosome, it is also homozygous organism or homozygous condition, but homozygous recessive because both the alleles are written in a small letter. Now look at this figure. It is a heterozygous condition. Both the pair of chromosome having both the alleles of A gene. Capital A condition is also there, means dominant allele is there and a small allele is there. So this condition is known as heterozygous condition. Thank you. I hope the video is informative for you. Thank you so much.